So today we're going to do some tips for first-time homebuyers, or really anyone who's buying a home in what I would call the new world. So last year, 2023, the National Association of Realtors lost a really big lawsuit. And it's worth doing a Google into look at NAR lawsuit. And the basics of it were this. A bunch of sellers got together and said they didn't realize that they didn't have the option to not pay the buyer's agent. Traditionally, the way it's worked in real estate in America is that the seller pays for the buyer's agent. So if someone's looking to sell a house, on average, they're paying between 5 and 6% in real estate fees that's getting split between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. And this lawsuit was sellers saying, hey, why are we paying for the buyers to negotiate against us? And it was found that, there was I don't want to use any of the terms utilized, but how does it actually affect you as a buyer now? Do you have to pay for your real estate agent? So as I film this, it's January 2024. I haven't seen that yet, okay? I have heard from coworkers that, one of my friends, they had a client where in the contract, the agent wrote that the buyer would pay the buyer's agent commission of 3%, okay? And that could have just been a negotiating tactic. But as a buyer in 2024, it is a conversation you should have with your agent. Now, if you are a VA buyer, you cannot pay your real estate agent's commission. Very important that you know that. Conventional FHA, you can. So for my conventional and FHA buyers, you want to know if the real estate agent is expecting you to be the one footing the bill. Once again, as I film this, I haven't seen that yet, but it's gonna be an evolving situation. What we are starting to see is we're starting to see agents getting buyers to sign buyer's agreements earlier and quicker. Now, let's talk about briefly what a buyer's agreement is, the pros, the cons, and I'm going to be really clear. I don't see this in every state. However, some states like Washington's making it mandatory. So what a buyer's agreement is it's an agreement between you and the agent where they're agreeing to represent you. You're agreeing to work with them for a specific period of time, and what they make is being agreed to in this agreement, okay? And it may have wording like, buyer's agent to make 3%. If the seller offers less, the buyer will be responsible for the difference. If you're a conventional or FHA buyer, guys, that is a legally binding contract. With VA, they can't. It's not allowable. It's not a VA allowable. Although there are some agents that know some workarounds on that. So you really want to be cognizant if you're being presented with a buyer's agreement, because these are legally binding and they have a lot in them. So definitely make sure. And here's the next question I get is, well, are they the same? No, guys, they're different. They're different in every state. They're different by brokerage. Some brokerages, you could be in Tennessee and talk to one person and get a totally different agreement than another. Some of them have what I would call nonsense fees. I saw one a while back where it literally said, buyer agrees to pay $1,100 government compliance fee. What? There's no government compliance fee that the buyer's responsible for, but the real estate brokerage had determined that buyers wouldn't recognize that it wasn't something they directly really should be paying, but it's something they pay, right? Because they pay for a compliance department or they pay for their licensing, whatever they're paying for, but they're having the buyer subsidize it. So you want to watch out for that. You may see buyer agrees to pay $300 or $600 for a transaction coordinator. Personally, would I pay for a transaction coordinator? No, I wouldn't. I'm going to tell you why. That's your real estate agent's assistant. Like, I don't have on my loans that you're going to pay $200 or $300 to work with Sam or Jen on my team so that they make my life easier. But that's what a transaction coordinator does. They make the transaction easier for the real estate agent. So I would always be arguing against that fee. especially if you're signing a contract where the real estate agent is guaranteed, 2.5 or 3%. So there are certain areas where I don't see this happening at all yet. It's just not culturally normal. Like, I don't see a lot of this in California at the moment. We've never really had that in California. Texas, we're seeing it. The Carolinas, we can see it. Tennessee, we see it. Washington, it's going to be mandatory, but we're going to be seeing more of it across the country. So you really need to be aware of what you're signing. Now, a red flag is two things. Number one, if a real estate agent won't really talk to you or do anything until you sign that, don't sign it. Don't sign it. A good real estate agent is going to want to have at least a first-time home buyer consult with you, via Zoom or in person before they ask you to sign something like that, because a good agent wants to make sure that you're a good fit as well. Right? Because these are saying that you guys are going to work together. So they want to make sure that it's going to be a good fit, because a good real estate agent knows the last thing that you want is someone that doesn't like you being trapped with you, right? So really watch out, because what I'll see is usually like the agents where we're like, ugh, like, why did you pick this person? They made them sign it before they even went out. And the buyer had no idea what they were signing. They were just told, hey, if you want to see houses, we have to have you sign this, without being explained what it is. And some of these are for like 6 months, right? And you're like, oh, well, if I signed it, I'll just go use another agent and they'll never know. Guys, if you close on another house, they can go take that other real estate agent's commission. Like, these are serious, serious deals. So if the agent asks you to sign that and they haven't really talked to you and they don't have any interest in talking to you until you sign it, I think that's a red flag. The other red flag is if they don't walk you through it. I think that's a red flag. How the hell are you supposed to understand this? This is something very unique to the way that they get paid. They need to walk you through it. Just like I'm a lender and I say, hey, look, on VA, we waive our lender fee. Everybody else, 2024, it's $1,640. That is what guaranteed rate charges, okay? That is what you will pay. If the seller gives you a credit towards closing costs and it covers that, cool. Otherwise, if you close a loan with us, that is your responsibility, okay? And they should be doing the same. Hey, and what I think is interesting too, is as a lender, I don't have a marriage contract with you guys, right? I could get you fully underwritten and approved. You can dump me in a heartbeat, totally okay. But what we're seeing with this is it's really, cementing that relationship up front. Now, I will tell you that I have some real estate agents that I work with that are really good, and they do have buyers sign these after the initial consult. But if the buyer tells them that they want to terminate or they don't want to work together, they're always like, okay, no problem, terminate it. Every time. Because once again, a good real estate agent doesn't want to work with you if you don't want to work with them. But I've also seen the ones where, once again, we're like, where did you find this person? They don't want to terminate. They're like, no, you can't. And look, guys, I'm here to tell you that if you guys signed a bad buyer's agreement and you really dislike your agent and you're not shopping and you're giving up on your dream of home ownership because you're tied to Ursula the Sea Witch for another 6 months, go to their broker and just say, hey, we have not had a good experience. We want out of our buyer's agreement so that we can pursue our dreams of home ownership. Most brokers are going to let you out, right? The average person doesn't want you giving up your dream of home ownership because you accidentally signed with Ursula the Sea Witch, okay? So know that there is hope, okay? But look, I wanted to do this video because we are seeing the buyer's agreement get pushed more. What brokerages are telling their agents to do is get these signed, also because if the sellers decide not to pay, then having this signed agreement puts you on the hook. So definitely pay attention, guys. Be aware. And look, everything's a negotiation, so keep that in mind. And you can interview multiple agents. So if I was in a position where someone was going to push a buyer's agreement on me, I would definitely be talking to 4 or 5 real estate agents before I signed everything to make sure I'm comfortable with them. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize they can do, but you can interview agents. And if someone's rude to you about it, they're the wrong agent. I mean, let's just be real about the money that we're talking about here. So in America, the average price of a house is somewhere around 500, right? Give or take. So 500,000, 3% is $15,000. That's a lot of money, guys. So if someone's not willing to let you chat with them and try to earn your business, but they get paid $15,000, goodbye. I'm telling you right now, the good agents will take the time because they realize it's a lot of money and they want to show you that they're worth it. So look, as always, comments, questions, feel free to reach out. I have the calendar, the link to it. You guys know you can always pick a time. We can talk about whatever you want. Sandy and Alyssa take those calls. I do them sometimes, but we're just here to support you. We want you guys to have a good experience, have your eyes wide open, and just make sure that your dream of home ownership isn't delayed because of, something new occurring in the industry. So thanks for watching, guys.